Hello everybody and a happy Monday to you. I hope your week has started well. You may have heard last week me talking about the strength-based approach. I was explaining a little bit about how the Watch Your Strength activity is very much embedded within that approach, that strength-based approach that comes from sort of positive psychology. Now, when we use a strength-based approach and really focus on what somebody does well, come from that starting point and focusing on their strengths, it can have such a positive impact on how they view themselves and their self-development. And this week, we're going to look at 5 things that it can really help with and how Watch Your Strength is helping each one. Now, we're kicking off today with self-awareness, which is really important to me as a careers advisor. It is absolutely fundamental in my role, and in fact we're going to hear from another careers advisor in a moment, the fabulous Michelle Powell, a good friend and colleague of mine, and she's going to explain a little bit about how she's used the Watch Your Strength cards to help support a young person and look at her self-awareness. Now, for me, it's actually the way I often describe my job actually to young people, and I'll explain that my role is to help them to understand themselves better, so then they can move forward more positively in their lives and make really positive choices and decisions for themselves, because they're coming from that starting point of having good self-awareness and knowing what's important to them, what their personality's like, what their strengths are, what their interests are, what their values are, what they're motivated by. All of those things can then help that young person move forward. And when I was creating Watch Your Strength, that was something I really wanted. I wanted to try and encapsulate the young people in a holistic sense. So rather than just focusing on one particular thing, just their, qualifications, for example, it's actually looking at themselves in a much wider sense. And I've shown this diagram before, but it's relevant. So I'm going to show it again. It's relevant to what I'm talking about today. So this sort of daisy picture has been designed by a fantastic careers coach who works for Dyslexia Scotland. Now, her name is Katie Carmichael. I'll put her details below. And a little bit of a shout out to Katie, actually, because she was a big part of the helping me with the design, going through the design process with Watch Your Strength. And she also helped with one of my favourite cards, which was the neurodiverse card, and looking at the strengths that are associated with different neurodiverse conditions. So have a look out for that card, and thank you to Katie for your help with that one. But yeah, so this diagram that Katie's put together is really looking at people holistically. So putting the person in the middle, so you can see here the whole of me. Now, whether you're a parent, a careers advisor, a teacher, a mentor, a youth coach, whoever you are, this can really help when you're supporting a young person and helping them develop good self-awareness, because it helps them to see all the different parts that make them unique. And that uniqueness is what makes everybody amazing in itself. Nobody is exactly the same as anybody else. And that's incredible. And that makes everybody really special. So by helping somebody to have a think about their experiences, whether it be at work, whether it be in a life experience, what skills have they developed from those experiences? What knowledge do they have because of those? What training or qualifications have they been involved in? And what qualities do they have as a person? What are their values? What are their character traits? What's their personality like? And that's what I've really tried to do with Watch Your Strength. So I've got an example here of one of the purple cards, the help to organise an event. Now, this one experience in itself will have helped a person really develop lots of different skills and qualities. So by just using that one experience, look at that amazing list of skills and qualities and strengths that a person may have developed. So by using the card, looking at their experience, thinking about why was that important to them, and then breaking it down into the strengths that they've developed from it is so empowering and really helps them to understand themselves better. That self-awareness, which is so crucial. Now I'm going to pass over to Michelle Powell so she can tell you a little bit, and then I'm going to pop back at the end of the video. So I will see you in a couple of minutes.
Hi there. So my name is Michelle Powell and I'm a careers consultant. I work in schools with young people, normally from year 10 to year 13. So I've got my cards here that I prepared earlier, and my What's Your Strength cards, which are always at my desk when I'm working from home, or they are with me when I go to school. So I've been using these cards for a while now, and it's been quite an interesting experience to see the impact that it's had on the young people that I work with. One young person that comes to mind particularly was in year 10, a young lady who, when I was talking to her about her future career ideas, wasn't sure what she wanted to do at all. She demonstrated very low confidence and low self-belief. And the conversation was quite stuck, to be honest. Everything I asked her, or asking her about herself, she just, don't know. I do see that quite often, to be honest. So anyway, I thought, let me try this exercise. So got the cards out, start to ask about what she does at home, what she does in the community, what her interests are, what she enjoys, her favourite subjects, etc. And we laid the cards out, and she just started to choose what she does. And she pulled out quite a few cards. So once she pulled them out, we turned them over. We started looking at the skills that and qualities that she has developed through doing the things that she does every day in school, what she was doing at home, and her face literally started to change. I could see that the feeling in the room lifted. Her face started to light up. And to be honest, that was what we did. That was the main focus of that interview. And that was really important for that in that moment to do that. And as she started to identify the qualities and skills and to choose what she knew she had already within her, it was such a powerful moment. We laid them out, and I got her to write them down so she could go away and look at them. I asked her how she felt, and she said she felt good. She felt happy about herself. And I think that's so important for young people to really recognise what they already have. Education can be very much about what we need to get, but it's also, I believe, about what they have within them already. So once she was able to do that, we could get to a point where it was like, oh, we could start to think about what you do have to offer already and what you may want to develop, and those skills and qualities you may want to develop. And also thinking, right, what can I offer to the community? And I have something to offer to an employer. So yeah, that was a great experience. And I've just found these cards so useful to use in my practice with young people. I love to talk to them about who they are and what they have to offer to this world. So thank you for listening. My name is Michelle, signing off.
So big thank you to Michelle Powell for sharing her thoughts and her story today. And a final sort of word from me really in terms of how What's Your Strength is helping young people develop self-awareness is it really is about helping young people to reflect on their own experiences so they can then tell their own story, their own unique story. By doing that, helping them to spot what recognise what their skills and qualities are, and actually looking where the gaps are in their knowledge as well, so they know sort of what skills and qualities they'd like to develop. And also, crucially, it's to be able to articulate them and get to the point where they feel more comfortable and more confident sharing them and talking about them. Because it's one thing knowing what your strengths are, but it's another thing to actually be able to talk about them. And if you think any young person that's coming towards the end of their education, they are at a point where they are going to need to be able to talk about their strengths, whether that be on application forms, on their CV, in an interview, on a personal statement. It will be required. And actually to feel comfortable and confident talking about yourself in a positive light and being able to talk freely about your strengths is so empowering. And I hope and I can see that What's Your Strength is doing that. The feedback I'm getting from people is really showing that young people are benefiting from it. So as always, if you've experienced it, please share. If you've not got What's haven't used What's Your Strength and want to know any more, please do get in touch with me. And I'll be back tomorrow, which will be focusing on self-esteem. And I have the fabulous Vicky Ford sharing some thoughts from her experience with What's Your Strength. So I will look forward to sharing with you all tomorrow, and have a fabulous day. All right, take care. Bye.